Okay, let's talk about the 24th match day of the Bundesliga, which is coming up this weekend. Actually, the first game is today. So, what I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks, or actually indefinitely, what I'm planning on doing is selecting like 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4 games that I really want to see and that I want to take a look at this weekend specifically, because like the matches are important to the teams that are playing in them, obviously, but also because the teams are in like interesting situations right now, whether it's on the table or it's because they just changed their coach. So right now I'm going to give you the 3 matches that I'm going to take a look at this weekend. The first one I actually want to talk about is Bayer Leverkusen is hosting Werder Bremen today on Friday. It's interesting because Bayer Leverkusen just changed their coach. They just fired Roger Schmidt, which was their coach for about 3 years, and now hired Tayfun Korkut, who was the coach for Hannover for a while in Germany, and I think also coached in Turkey for a while. And so that's their interim coach, is what they always call it when they don't contractually bind the coaches for a long term, but just till the end of the season. It's going to be interesting how the team is going to react to the new coach. The reason why it's interesting is because Bayer Leverkusen has a lot of potential, a lot of great players in their team. Julian Brandt, Chicharito, Kevin Campbell, Karim Bellarabi. This team actually needs to be at least in the top 6. They need to play international. Right now I think they're in 10th place on the table, so it's going to be interesting how they are going to react to the new coach and if they can actually seize their potential a little more now with the new coach. Bremen, on the other side, they won the last 3 or 4 games, I believe. It's going to be interesting to see whether they're going to be able to continue this trend when they're faced with a strong opponent such as Leverkusen. Clemens Fritz is injured, is not going to be able to play the rest of the season. He's one of their most important midfielders, and so it's going to be interesting to see whether it's going to have a big impact on their game that he's missing. The other person I think who's questionable is Serge Gnabry. Gnabry actually came to the team in the beginning of the season from somewhere in the UK. I think it was Arsenal, and so he's been great this season, and there are already rumors that different teams want to buy him from Werder Bremen, and so we'll see if that's going to happen. He's questionable as well, and if he's not going to play, I think Leverkusen should win. The second game that I want to talk about, or that I want to take a look at and watch in full, is RB Leipzig, Red Bull Leipzig, who's going to play VfL Wolfsburg, simply because Leipzig, as you probably know, just made it into the first league at the beginning of the season, and they've been playing great. They're second in the table. They have, I believe, 6 points on the third in the table, and it's just going to be interesting to see because VfL Wolfsburg also just changed coaches. 2 weeks ago they relieved Valérien Ismail, I believe that's his name, he's a French dude, and they fired him. Now they have Andries Jonker, who came to Wolfsburg from the UK. It's going to be interesting to see if he can actually seize on the potential that VfL Wolfsburg clearly have, because they have a lot of talented players in their squad, have been playing under their potential for the entire season, and are, I believe, 15th right now in the ranking, and really need to gain some ground to not have to do with the relegation procedures at the end of the season. Third and last one that I want to take a look at, that I'm going to watch this weekend, the Hamburger SV is hosting Borussia Mönchengladbach. And that's going to be interesting because Hamburg is still at the bottom of the table. I believe they're 16th right now. Definitely have to win in order to get out of this zone that they're in right now and not be relegated. As I said in a previous video, actually I'd like for Hamburg to be relegated just because they made it in such a close way over the last few years. I'm going to root for Borussia Mönchengladbach, even though they're going to play Schalke next week in the EuroLeague. Yeah, Gladbach feel like they found their groove by now under the new coach Dieter Hecking, who came to the team in the winter break, and now we'll see if they can continue their upward trend. 3 games that I want to take a look at this weekend and that I'm going to watch, and maybe if I have some extra time I'm also going to watch the Hertha Berlin game, versus Borussia Dortmund, because that's also very far at the top of the table and interesting to see. I believe that Dortmund is going to win in Berlin. Had a downward trend over the last 3-4 games. They need to win as well in order to stay connected to the international spots on the table. Dortmund, on the other hand, played magnificently during the week against Benfica Lisbon. They won 4-0. Last weekend they won against Leverkusen 6-2. So I think Dortmund is the clear favorite in that game. And as I said, if I have some extra time, I'm going to look into that as well. And then on Monday, I'm going to give you my full review of those games. I'm going to see you then.